As the technology gap furthers, 4K televisions and blockbuster video games are replacing our books, and reading will become a thing of the past. It is now up to the school board to reinforce the importance of reading. Meet Stephen Krashen, a former professor from the University of Southern California. He has won several awards, including the Mildenberger Award and the Pilmser Award, and has even been inducted into the International Reading Association's Hall of Fame. He has written over 350 papers and books on second language acquisition, bilingual education, and reading. And in his book, The Power of Reading, Krashen shows just how powerful of a tool free voluntary reading can be when acquiring first and second language, and even suggests without a proper reading habit, advanced levels of language are difficult to attain. Free voluntary reading, or FVR, is reading what you want. This is reading for pure pleasure, which means no questions at the end of a chapter and no book reports when you finish the book. And according to Krashen, free voluntary reading is the foundation of language education. Numerous studies on this concept have been done, and it appears that free voluntary reading does in fact promote and improve reading comprehension, vocabulary knowledge, and writing proficiency. Children who do well in reading comprehension, vocabulary recognition, and reading speed test are frequently reading outside of school. A study done by Anderson, Wilson, and Fielding, which asked fifth graders to record their activities outside of school, showed that among all the ways children spend their time, reading books was the best predictor of several measures of reading achievement. Further studies show more reading leads to an increase in vocabulary knowledge. Read and test studies provided by researchers at the University of Illinois suggest when an unfamiliar word is read, a small but reliable increase in word knowledge occurs. This may be due to understanding the context around the word. It seems that reading alone will increase encounters with new words, with context clues providing an understanding of that word. Findings by Krashen and Lee show reading also improves writing ability, which they found a positive correlation between reported free reading and writing ability in Chinese. Based on the research, free voluntary reading seems to have a big influence on language acquisition. These studies even show FVR could prove to be even more beneficial than the traditional way being instructed, which consists of skill-building techniques and error correction, and is done by lectures and demonstrations of the material. Relying solely on this method of language education may prove to be too complex for students due to the fact language users must acquire words with difficult meanings and grammatical properties. Many scholars, such as Krashen, Smith, and Anderson, have made this complexity argument. Comparisons done by Krashen also suggest in-school free programs are even more beneficial than traditional programs. In 51 out of 54 comparisons, students who did more free voluntary reading did as well or better on reading tests than students who were given traditional direct instruction. Which poses the question, is direct instruction even needed for language acquisition? People with large vocabulary and good writing do not claim they've gotten these skills through studying alone. Smith and Spunick interviewed 456 company presidents who had significantly larger vocabulary scores than a comparison group of adults did. And when asked what they did to make an effort to increase their vocabulary since leaving high school, a very small percentage said they used vocabulary instruction books to increase their vocabulary. Even author Richard Wright contributed his language development to novels and not books that teach grammar. FVR has proven to be a competent means of language development even without direct instruction, and it seems without reading, drills and exercises are just not enough. However, being taught directly may not be as beneficial as free voluntary reading. FVR alone cannot make someone a literacy genius, so it is up to our teachers to fill in the gaps. Direct instruction can be effective in a sense that it can help the student notice different rules and vocabulary meanings from a book they could not understand from context clues alone. Studies by Hamill, Larson, and McNutt showed spelling instruction had a clear effect when students were ahead than uninstructed students in grades 3 and 4. However, this advantage was gone by grade 5 and 6, when at these levels, there was no difference between taught and untaught children. It seems spelling instruction succeeded in helping children learn to spell words they will encounter on their own from reading. The research is overwhelming. It is no question that free voluntary reading promotes literacy development. The real question is how to emphasize the importance of reading to students to encourage them to develop a reading habit. The answer is simple. more time to read, and more access to books. Just providing more time to read results in more reading. By making more time for in-school reading programs and sustained silent reading inside the classroom, students are more likely to pick up a book and read. There is even evidence that shows students actually prefer free voluntary reading programs over traditional direct instruction. Bailey asked the parents of 22 children in in-school programs how their children reacted to in-school free reading programs. All the parents stated that their children did not complain, and 21 parents said that their children seemed even more interested in reading. Having more access to books in and outside of class can also promote more reading. Morrow and Winston reported that installing a well-designed library corner in kindergarten classes resulted in more reading during free playtime. More reading can also occur when school libraries have larger collections and longer hours, as reported by Hull and Montmarquis. Not only do kids need an ample amount of books present, they also need social influence to further encourage reading. Findings by Wildahl and Entwistle found that models have a profound effect on voluntary reading. They showed that when children see their teacher reading during sustained silent reading, they were significantly more engaged in their reading compared to the teachers who weren't reading during this time. Having more time to read, more access to books, and role models are crucial for developing a reading habit. Our job is to encourage free reading. Not only is this habit beneficial to language acquisition, it can also seamlessly be implemented along with traditional studies. Children even prefer FVR to traditional studies because it makes language acquisition easy to learn and fun to acquire. As of now, the majority of class time usually consists of routine memorization of literacy techniques with the minimal time dedicated to reading. Based on the research, this is not beneficial for a student who wants to attain advanced levels of language arts. Reading should be utilized more and should play a larger role in the curriculum. More time reading means more gains in literacy development.